The Orlando Magic have become the betting favorites to land star point guard from Sacramento, De'Aaron Fox. Could he end up coming to the Orlando Magic? What will they need to give up to get him? And why exactly is the Orlando Magic favored to get his services? We're going to go over that and more, as well as the Magic's loss to the 76ers last night. But first, thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. Hopefully you guys hit the subscribe and the like button and join the Magic Digest family. We're trying to build an Orlando Magic basketball community here on YouTube, and doing so is the best and easiest way to join. All right, let's take a look at the initial kind of report. This comes from a couple of different betting websites, but namely Bovada. Plus 400 is what the Magic are sitting at right now to land De'Aaron Fox in a potential trade. And obviously he could potentially come in free agency, but it looks like a trade would be the most logical and the most plausible step for both parties to join forces. Now, is this even at all a possibility? I think, in all honesty, this isn't going to happen. I'm not saying that it is, because if you're looking at betting odds and if somebody is likely to go to a certain team, you're hoping or you're wanting to see minus 150. You're going to really want to see that get much closer to even than it is right now at plus 400. It's going to have to get closer to even. It's going to have to potentially be at minus 150. You're going to have a serious favorite. And also, prior to the trade deadline, we have no idea who even is truly interested in what. Also, which teams are gearing up to make a trade like this. We don't know just yet. What we do know about the Orlando Magic is that this would add a third max player to their roster, with Paolo Banchero being up for the max next year, Franz getting it this year, and this would also add another player getting over $30 million per year, because De'Aaron Fox is going to get a max. He's going to demand a max, and if he leaves in free agency or we trade for him, we are going to be paying him the max. So with those three guys, plus Jalen Suggs, who's earning $30 million per year or so now, that's a lot of money. That would probably put this team into some sort of second apron status at like $188 million. That's why a trade is probably the most plausible thing to do. So with the cap situation, I don't really see it. With the odds situation, I don't really see it either just yet. Now, how would this actually happen? How could this team make it fit? Well, they're going to have to trade away Jalen Suggs in this type of deal. That's where you say goodbye. We want star power. We think De'Aaron Fox, if we can lock him down long term, is going to be the answer. Putting him with Franz and Paolo actually makes his team a championship level contender. Now, I just don't think the front office has shown that they are going or willing to invest in a player that much. But as we can see, De'Aaron Fox has been killing it this year, and he is, in my honest opinion, wildly better than Jalen Suggs. Not defensively. Three-point shooting is there and it's good, but I think Jalen Suggs is good, but I think De'Aaron Fox is so much better. 27 points per game, 6 assists per game, 33.6% from three, 49% from the field. And honestly, no matter what you may think of the Kings, De'Aaron Fox is certainly not the reason for any of their struggles, or if they don't go further than you might think that they should. Taking a look at Jalen Suggs' stats, clearly, this season, he's a step under it. De'Aaron Fox is a perennial all-star or perennial borderline all-star. I think he would be an all-star more regularly in the Eastern Conference. And Jalen Suggs is a defensive-oriented point guard who cannot seem to shoot the ball to save his life. And he has had a handful of games, including the game against the 76ers and including the game prior to that, and a handful of other games along this stretch with Paolo Banchero being out, where he has some nights where he is 1 for 10 from the three-point line. In my opinion, if this were to be a deal that this front office tries to get done, I'm not against it. I'm not against it, like, whatsoever. I think that this team could end up finding a replacement for Suggs, and I would be completely okay with whatever they end up deciding to do as far as that is concerned. Now, would this move potentially impact other players on the roster, such as Anthony Black, Tristan Da Silva, Wendell Carter Jr.? Yes, yes, and yes, and that is probably why you wouldn't want to do it from a team-building perspective, but I don't think that there's any argument that De'Aaron Fox isn't better than Jalen Suggs. But I don't think this front office would do this, although I just think it's a very interesting possibility, because I could see this being a let's go for it now trade, and I don't think it's completely out of the ordinary. But to recap before I move into the Sixers game from last night, Fox, I do think, is still a decent fit. Not worried about the three guys hogging the ball. I think with Paolo and Franz. I think it still works. I think he's better than Jalen Suggs. I think this cap would be a massacre, and they would probably have to gut part of this team. Obviously, you're trading for another max guy. You're getting 3 max guys, and you'd only want to make this trade if you're going to definitely get him in the following offseason, or making some sort of sign and trade in the offseason. I have no idea, but making that work, long-term commitment. And plus 400 means right now we have no idea. This just seems like they would fit on this team, or they seem like they'd be a great pairing. And also, lastly, and I probably didn't say this, so adding to the summary, this team is playing still really good basketball, and they are a very good team, and I think it's worth seeing how far this current team, this current core can get in the playoffs, especially since they're playing their best basketball this season without the franchise guy, without their best player. All right, let's take a look at what happened last night against the 76ers. The Orlando Magic lost. They were competitive throughout, but they weren't able to get the job done. Franz Wagner led the team in scoring. Jalen Suggs was second behind him, but did not shoot very well. Shot pretty decently from 3, 4 of 12. I guess we'll take that. I guess we'll kind of take that. But he was 8 of 19 from the floor, and at times did not look as efficient as you would have wanted him to be, but certainly a step up from the other night that we saw him out on the court. He played decently well, but not, in my opinion, as well as De'Aaron Fox was playing. But we're past that. We're going to talk about Franz Wagner. He played well. Wendell Carter Jr. was out there. He played well. And then KCP did not show up again. So he's back to his old roots. And Tristan da Silva was oddly not aggressive whatsoever. And there was no bench production practically at all. And Mo Wagner, once again, shooting above 50% and being the leading scorer off the bench. Just not enough scoring from this team. Also, 13 of 46 from the three-point line. That is going to show you why the Orlando Magic lost, and they scored under 100 points, 94 to 102. They lost. They did get outscored in the second quarter. That was the biggest storyline of the night. That was pretty much why this team was trying to claw back for the rest of the night, but they won the fourth quarter 35-31. That was when, of course, the defense could not hold up enough. Paul George led the team in scoring for the Sixers with 21 points. Kind of a bit of a, you wanted to show, hey, you should have went here. You should have came to the Orlando Magic. Wasn't that type of night for Orlando, but they'll just bounce back. A lot of times, I think we're seeing Orlando's getting a little tired, too, at certain points, and I hate to just kind of harp on that, but since December 1st, this was the 4th game of the month, so you had a game on the 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 6th. I think they're due for a little bit of a break. They got 2 games in the next 4 days, and then then we're talking Cup, because the Cup game is against the Bucks. That's probably what this team is gearing up to, and they've also it was nice to try to get back. They're going to come back home soon. So they come back home against the Suns. So they were kind of on the road for a while, too. I think they were just trying to look for some scoring. I wouldn't really take much stock into this, but I definitely think that this team could use some scoring. They entered the night as the worst three-point shooting team in the NBA, and they didn't help whatsoever with that case at all. Jonathan Isaac did not play to a sore right hamstring, so we'll have to monitor that and see exactly what kind of updates are for that. The Orlando Magic, as a key stat of the night, if you didn't catch it, shot 4 of 21 from the floor in the second quarter. I mentioned that second quarter was pretty bad. And 0 for 13 from three-point range during that session. Would have liked to them to get some easy buckets when things weren't falling. Turned a 2-point deficit, or a 2-point lead into a 9-point deficit. So that was the main story of the game. They couldn't overcome that. But let me know what you guys think down below of the De'Aaron Fox possibility. I'm not a Jalen Suggs hater by any means, but we're paying him a lot of money. And when you sign an extension, you can't trade a guy for a certain amount of time. I get all that, and I want to see what this team can do. But I think De'Aaron Fox on this team brings it to another level. I'm a De'Aaron Fox guy. I'm a De'Aaron Fox believer. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is that stupid, or could you see this team reaching new heights with that? Let me know. But that's all the time I got for you guys today. Thanks so much for clicking on this video and watching, hopefully all the way through. I will see you guys next time with more Orlando Magic basketball content.